Hey guys, Ben from Pax Power Performance Trucks in Houston, Texas. And 5 years ago, we set out to be the first Silverado Supertruck. What's a Silverado Supertruck? Well, there is not a Silverado or GMC based product that competes with the Ford Raptor, with the Ram TRX. We set out to fill that gap, and we did that. For the past 5 years, we've made hundreds of Jackals, somewhere between 100 and 200, and we have sent these trucks all over the world. And one cool thing about Jackals is that everyone is different. It can be based on any trim Silverado. It can come from any dealership, yours or ours. We can ship them anywhere in the world. You get to pick every aspect of it. And that has been an awesome experience for us and our customers. It allows for Jackals to be at a very wide price point. There are Jackals with the wide body, with the long travel suspension starting at maybe $80,000. You can creep the trucks up with some of the best off-road accessories and parts and superchargers and anything you could imagine, and you might end up somewhere around $120,000. We have had a couple of people try to come into this market and mirror what we're doing here. We think they've missed the mark for a couple of reasons. For one, and we'll get into it here in a minute, their trucks cost $250,000. Ours are a fraction of that. And we think that for the reasons we're going to discuss, these $250,000 trucks just don't make sense, and we think that's why they haven't sold that well. So let me take a couple of minutes, let me talk about what this Jackal is behind us. This is one of the most fully loaded Jackals we've done. It has all kinds of cool parts, shows you what kind of a top-end Jackal looks like. So I'm going to go through this truck for a couple of minutes, and then we'll cover those two trucks, the Blacklake XT1 and the Fox Factory Silverado, the two competitors that are trying to step to the Jackal, but for the reasons I'm going to cover, I don't think they compare. So we think this is a great Jackal to take it and compare it against the Blacklake XT1 and the Fox Factory truck because it is so fully loaded. And as I mentioned earlier, you don't have to go this far. Every Jackal is made to order. You can start with any trim, you can go luxury with a high country, you can go with a lower priced RST, or what a lot of customers do is start with these Silverado ZR2s. Here we have a 2024 Silverado ZR2 with the 6.2 liter. We've installed a 3.0 liter Whipple Supercharger that raises the horsepower to 650. Those of you that know, that's the same horsepower claimed by both Blacklake and the Fox Factory truck. And it's a good, reliable, safe horsepower for these 6.2 liters. So it's no coincidence we all ended up at that number. We then add our 3-inch per corner wide body system that looks amazing, has awesome fit, really crisp body lines. We have a fender liner system that really finishes everything out very nicely. This customer went even further with the visuals and did this Addictive Desert Designs bumper. You see rigid lights all through the front. They've got a worn 10,000-pound winch, ready for just about anything. Suspension-wise, this is riding on Missoula long travel with about 12 inches of travel up front. Has Fox 2.5 coilovers with reservoirs and adjusters. Just a really nice shock. It rides amazing. Wheels, 37-inch KM3s from BF Goodrich on some really cool looking KMC wheels. And the customer got to choose this look. There's not another one out there like this. He picked this to his taste. He picked the wheels, the tires, the bumper, the graphics you see down the side. He wanted power steps, so we did those for him. Every bit of these trucks is made to order and what the customer wants. And as we talk about these other two trucks, the Blacklake, the Fox Factory, that's something you won't find. Those trucks seem to be one size fits all. They base them off of a really low level truck. The Fox Factory truck seems to be like an RST, and I can't understand for the life of me who would buy a $250,000 truck that has a manual passenger seat and no 360 camera. So our customers think about that, and that's how they end up with Pax Power, because they can get the truck they want, how they want it, at a fraction of the price. Coming back here, you see the 37s. We also have the Fox coilovers, or the Fox shocks rather, back here. addictive desert design rear bumpers. We're able to retain all the sensors, keep all of the systems happy, so no lights on the dash, and then we finish things off with a Borla exhaust. That's our truck. Again, all of that can be customized. All of that can be bought through any dealer. We can finance this through GM Financial, get you some of those awesome rates that are out there right now. I haven't heard of anybody buying a Fox factory truck, but I don't really know how you finance a $220,000 Silverado. Chances are you don't, so you better have that cash laying around for one of those. We're gonna take a couple of minutes, we're gonna talk about those other trucks, and then once, as we think you should, you decide that the Jackal is what you need, we'll talk about how to get one for you. The first competitor to our Pax Power Jackal came out in 2021, and that's the Blacklake XT1. Best we can tell, it is founded by a group of ex-GM performance engineers, and they built a really cool truck. It has very distinct bodywork, has some unique parts and ideas. Overall, I'll say it seems to be a good truck. However, it seems to not ever be accepted as what they put it out there to be. They said this is a luxury pre-runner, ready to run the desert at speed, and marketed it such. I think for several reasons it may just have never caught on. For one, the bodywork is not really typical of the pre-runner truck and the pre-runner truck style. Same for their bumpers and things like that. Further, their suspension is a little bit unorthodox. They have 12 inches of suspension travel up front, 17 in the back. And if you read reviews of these trucks, you'll hear often that they're very unsettled and imbalanced, and it may have something to do with that. They also used a relatively unknown shock manufacturer for their suspension system. And while it looks like everything works on that truck, and I don't want to disparage it at all, I've never driven one, I don't know, but when you look at the suspension, it looks very crude and very race car, not a whole lot of style and details in the work. And I think that for a truck marketed as $250,000 as a pre-runner, it just was, you know, never found its audience. And the best I can tell, they never sold any trucks. If you look at their social media, they built one red 6.2 liter, one blue 5.3 liter. I don't think they ever built a truck again. We checked in on their social media before coming out here. Doesn't look like they've posted another truck in a number of years, and I don't know that they're really even building trucks anymore. The second truck to come along and compete with our Pax Power Jackal comes from Fox Factory. Some of you may know that Fox is now private equity. It is a huge company that's gone and bought a lot of different smaller companies within the truck space. They, for years, have owned Tuscany and Black Widow, those really expensive lifted trucks that are on dealership lots. And recently they purchased a suspension company, Baja Kits. The product of that relationship, the Tuscany Fox Factory Baja Kits relationship, is the Fox Factory truck. Before being sold to Fox Factory, Baja Kits, the suspension company, was owned by the Brenthel brothers. We have been a vendor of Baja Kits. They make excellent stuff, and the Brenthel brothers, I'll say, know their stuff. They are some of the best race truck builders out there. They have numerous Baja wins. Trophies in the cabinet. They make really awesome stuff, and the Fox Factory truck is no exception. And they market this truck to be a luxury pre-runner for those that are down in Baja. The suspension on the Fox Factory truck looks to be pretty incredible. 15 inches of travel in the front, 15 in the rear, bump stops front and rear, a linked setup in the rear. They have some really cool 3.0 Fox coilovers. It's all really good stuff. The suspension system is for sale. You could easily have us put that suspension system onto a Pax Power Jackal. However, it's expensive, and I don't think many people need it. The suspension system that comes on the Fox Factory truck is $45,000. That is a big number. There are a ton of builds you could do with superchargers and long travel and body and complete trucks that are some of the nicest builds out there, and our build cost will be less than $45,000. So we think that a lot of people just don't need that suspension. And if you do, we think there's maybe one glaring issue with the Fox factory truck, and that is if you're gonna have 15 inches of travel and you wanna drive across the desert at 50 miles an hour, doesn't that truck need a roll cage? And so then you cross into a whole different ball game. And so we think the Fox factory truck is very cool, has tons of nice stuff, uses the same Whipple Supercharger as us, but at $215,000, at something that has very race level suspension on it and is probably going to be a lot of maintenance for a daily driver and probably doesn't make sense for a daily driver, we think that that's maybe a truck without a market. Sure, there's going to be a few guys that race desert trucks and are going to want that. I guess they have to be okay that they all look the same, because the best I can tell, every Fox factory truck has to be black, has to have a certain set of wheels on it. So it'll be great until you see another one, but the Fox factory truck is pretty incredible. Just think that maybe people don't need that much. Trucks like the Jackal, I mean, I've been daily driving a Jackal for 5 years, 90,000 miles. We've got hundreds of these out there. They fit in parking garages, people daily drive them. You know, they're easy to get. We just think it's a truck that makes sense for more people. And after watching this, if you agree, the first thing to do with Pax Power is always give us a call. We love getting to know our owners, find out what you want, what kind of truck you may be looking for, maybe whatever you already have and want to build. Whatever it is, give us a call. We'd love to hear from you and get one of these in your driveway.